In a powerful show of support for nature, nearly every government in the world united behind the CBD's sweeping biodiversity plan for life on Earth. They committed to halting the extinction of threatened animal, plant, and fungi species. And in an historic first, they also committed to helping those species recover, so that the life we share our planet with can not only survive, but thrive. Making these goals a reality will take all of us working together. Reverse the Red is supporting governments, conservation experts, and communities around the world as they join forces to activate tried and tested tools and tie global efforts to local expertise. All in a coordinated effort to assess, plan, and act for wildlife. Together, we can save species from extinction. Together, we can secure our planet's future. Together, we can reverse the red.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this info session on Reverse the Red Day. My name is Megan Joyce. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Coordinator for Reverse the Red. You've probably seen emails from me and maybe some version of this previously, but we're really excited to have members of the WAZA team and the WAZA community coming together to really showcase events that they've done for Reverse the Red Day and have a bit of a Q&A and discussion about how Reverse the Red Day is helping them elevate their, communications and highlight all of the important conservation work that they are doing. So because I know you've come to see them, I am going to share a really quick set of slides and then I will turn it over. But just to get started and give you just the slightest bit of background here. Again, you're all here. You've probably heard of Reverse the Red Day. You've probably participated a little bit in the past, but if you're looking for ideas and you want to brainstorm and you want to do something exciting and a little bit different this year, I'm so glad that you are here with all of us. So Reverse the Red Day happens every year on February 7th. This will be our 4th ever Reverse the Red Day coming up here in just a few weeks. And it is all about amplifying successful species recovery efforts. So to back up just a little bit, Reverse the Red itself is a global coalition. We're dedicated to accelerating strategic action for species recovery. And we really believe that the tides are changing. It's because of all of you. It's because of the wider network. You see our executive committee members here at the bottom, but we believe that we can have a future where species are thriving. And that's what Reverse the Red is all about. And sharing that message is what Reverse the Red Day itself is all about. So we identified a lack of communal belief in and confidence that we can do this as a community. That was way back in 2019 and even before, when Reverse the Red was really in the very beginning stages of starting. One of the gaps was this lack of communal belief. And so I have here promo for the IZE and WAZA journal that just came out in November, I believe. We have an article in there about the World Species Congress that we put on in 2024, and that event was really all about galvanizing the conservation community around stories of species recovery and hope and optimism, and we really showed that we can do that and that this community is really craving that. And so that's been really one of the, foundational points of Reverse the Red throughout our time as we've been growing Reverse the Red, finessing the strategy, working on actions, and getting partners like all of you involved in Reverse the Red. And so that has been, again, an underpinning of Reverse the Red as a whole, but it is also a big part of Reverse the Red Day and why we started the day where everyone can come together and celebrate, all at once. So we've heard a lot about habitat protection, the 30 by 30 campaign, climate movements, and as Reverse the Red, we wanted biodiversity conservation to be on that same level. We want the conversation around species recovery and species protections to be at the same level as those other movements. And so we started Reverse the Red Day really as an annual celebration of all of the work that you all are doing. And we love to share success stories of all different kinds and just how everyone is working to reverse trends of biodiversity loss. Because as you've seen through any of our messaging, there's a place for all the different pieces of the community. There's something for everyone to do. And that makes a really big difference in the messaging and the storytelling, and also in the work of actually reversing the red for species. So the key messages for Reverse the Red Day, they're always optimistic, always evidence-based, and always collaborative. And we love to share information about Reverse the Red and the movement, but we also love to share information about what specific institutions and organizations are doing. And so, those success stories that I mentioned, they come in all different levels, right? For many of our species, it can take decades to actually downlist them on the red list. We know that. Success stories that are at that level is amazing, and we do celebrate those, but participating in reintroductions, creating a recovery plan, protecting habitat, inking a new partnership, releasing a new piece of research, or making a species pledge, those are all success stories as well that we would love to celebrate. And we also believe that Reverse the Red Day is for everyone. So when you are celebrating those success stories from your organization, thinking about what the general public is interested in terms of good news and success, thinking about your members and your visitors, whether they are, reading your email newsletter or they are coming and visiting in person, they're also looking for that impact that you are having in the conservation space on these animals that they are coming to see. Your volunteers, staff, and board members are already engaged. They love your mission. They, are dedicating so much of their time to working with you and working for you. And Reverse the Red Day is a great day to engage them as well, especially if you've been looking for just that kind of kick in order to be able to get them engaged a little bit more, elevate that to the next level. And lots of partners and governments, we've seen workshops and discussions a little bit more internal to the conservation community. Those have taken off and done really well as well. So Reverse the Red Day is for everyone. Depending on what your goals are this year in 2026 and moving into 2027, really take that and run with it. We love to see all different types of things. I mentioned a species pledge as a success story. And so we've had the species pledge open for, it'll probably be almost 2 years this spring. And we have lots of species pledges already. And we won't give you a sneak peek right now, but soon in your email inboxes, you will see a new pledge platform that we've been promising. And many of you have made pledges already. If you've made them already, or if you're thinking about a new pledge, Reverse the Red Day is a great day to really celebrate that pledge and, make a new one, talk about what you're doing for that species, talk about the impact that you're having. We have seen across the zoo and aquarium world, lots of great newsworthy, pieces and lots of good PR around species pledges. It showcases your conservation work. It taps into this global movement. And you can see we've got TV news, we've got The Guardian and BBC, and we've got, all different news outlets who are looking to feature these good news stories. So hopefully, if you are making a new species pledge or want to update on your species pledge, let us know, because we would love to help promote that and share that and really highlight and amplify the work that you're doing there. Now, just a few logistics. We do have a messaging toolkit. I will put the link to that in the chat. And I know Rosa is planning on sending out some information to everyone post-webinar. And so you'll get the link there as well. But logos, messages, templates, anything you need can be found in this toolkit. Of course, you're welcome to email me as well if there's something that you need that's not in there. We're happy to create it. Please tag Reverse the Red as much as you can in Waza, and we would love to promote, collaborate on posts, all of those things to really elevate and increase the engagement for all of your stories. I have some examples, but I won't take up time with those because we have lots of great examples of events who are going to tell you all about those specific things. And so just a showcase of all the different types of events that could have been hosted and have been really successful. And then again, this will come out in your email and in your Waza newsletter this week. But from Reverse the Red side, we are planning on hosting a full week of webinars and discussions. Save the dates here, but we'll send the registration links in the email. That way you don't have to click on all of them right now while we're in the webinar. But we have species success stories. We have national work at the National Biodiversity Strategy level. We have a conversation around technology and collaboration. We have a conversation around hopeful stories powering change, which is what we're all trying to do with Reverse the Red Day. And on Wednesday, we have a special Reverse the Red strategy update session. How was our 2025? What are we looking forward to in 2026? And how can we tap into and engage with all of these networks? So you have my email. It's megan.joyce@reversethered.org. And please do contact me at any time, any questions, and anything you would like help promoting. We would love to share your story. So I'm going to turn it over to the Waza team. They have a couple updates, and then we'll hear more from our other presenters on their specific events and examples.
Thank you, Megan, and good morning, good afternoon, evening, colleagues and friends from the Waza community. My name is Loïs Lelanchon. I'm Head of Partnerships and Advocacy at Waza, and I'm delighted to speak with you today about one of the most important and exciting partnerships we have in our community, and that is obviously Reverse the Red. It would be cruel if it was not the case. But Reverse the Red really is a movement, as Megan has said, that is changing how we approach species conservation globally and how your institution or your association can be part of this effort, especially through Reverse the Red Day. So what I'm hoping, the message that I'm hoping to get across today is really why it's relevant for you and why we encourage you to participate in Reverse the Red Day and Reverse the Red overall. And that is really linked, obviously, to the reality that we know and the global and policy development that are currently in place right now. So I will start with this reality that we all know, is that the biodiversity crisis has never been more severe. As many as 2 million species are at risk of extinction, with over 46,000 species currently known to be threatened on the IUCN Red List. And these are just not numbers, they also represent components of our planet's ecosystems. So what's different about this moment is that we have the Global Biodiversity Framework, and that is from the Convention on Biological Diversity that is ratified by 196 countries, so it's very global. And this has specific commitments to halt extinctions, reverse population declines, and recover species. And very specifically in this framework, Goal A and Target 4 are especially significant for our community because they give us clear, measurable, and objectives to work together. And we also have, as a community, something else, and that is proven success stories. We know that species recovery is possible when we work strategically, collaboratively, and with hope. And this is where Reverse the Red comes in. And this is also why the Waza community is so deeply committed to co-chairing this movement alongside the IUCN Species Survival Commission. Megan has said it, and I cannot do better than this, but it's really a global coalition that ignites strategic cooperation and action to ensure the survival of wild species and ecosystems. And it's led by the core principles that Megan has mentioned: optimism, evidence-based, and collaboration. So WASA, to give you a bit more background, WASA partnered with IUCN SSC and other leading organizations to create this movement precisely because it addressed three critical gaps: insufficient strategic alignment between governments and civil society. There's also a lack of coordinated action for species recovery, and the need to celebrate and to amplify success stories to inspire continued effort. We are bombarded by bad news and very negative news about conservation overall and climate and environment. So it's very important to celebrate those success stories. And here, WASA has a unique and essential role to play because our community welcomes more than 700 million visitors annually. So that's 1/10 of the world's population. And that gives us a very significant reach to inspire public engagement and action for conservation. But of course, it's not just about our visitor numbers, it's also about our expertise, your expertise, our collective expertise. As you know, zoos and aquariums contribute critical capacity to species recovery through breeding programs, husbandry expertise, veterinary care, genetic management, rescue and release operation, research, education, fundraising, community involvement, and I could go on and on. And what is very critical with this is that we bridge the gap between ex situ and in situ conservation in ways that very few other sectors can. And that is actually recognized in the target 4 of the Global Biodiversity Framework. Ex situ conservation is recognized as a way to halt extinctions and to reverse population declines. And that's why WASA recently presented the WASA members' commitment to biodiversity conservation at the CBD COP16 in Cali, Colombia. That was in 2024, at the end of 2024. And this is our formal declaration to support the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework and to committing to strengthening our role in global biodiversity conservation. And this commitment directly supports Reverse the Red mission. And so through Reverse the Red, we're not working in isolation. We're part of a coordinated global effort that includes Centers for Species Survival, species specialist groups, government agencies, obviously, and countless conservation partners. And we've already helped facilitate the short guide, how your zoo or aquarium can join Reverse the Red and halt biodiversity decline. And so if you haven't seen that resource, we would really encourage you to have a look. It's on the WASA website. And so now I would like to talk about Reverse the Red Day and why WASA is encouraging each of you to participate. And I know we'll hear about really good examples right after. So as Megan has mentioned, Reverse the Red Day takes place annually on February 7th. And this is really a global celebration of conservation success stories and a catalyst for accelerated action. It's when our community, the WASA community and way more and beyond, comes together virtually and in person to showcase the incredible work we're doing, to learn from one another also, and to make concrete commitments to species recovery. I think we've had already extraordinary results with the World Species Congress in May 2024. And Reverse the Red Day is participating to that because it gives your institution or your association the opportunity to showcase your conservation impact, also to connect strategically, to make formal commitments, to access support, and overall to join a very important movement. So I want to highlight 2 specific opportunities that make participation especially valuable, and Megan has already mentioned them, but I think it's always good to reinforce those points and those opportunities. There's obviously the Reverse the Red Species Pledge, which is designed to create a map of strategic recovery actions. So when you make a pledge, you're committing to specific actions for identified species in specific countries. And those are actions that are connected to indicators and metrics of the global biodiversity framework. So it's just not symbolic, it also creates strategic alignment with that we need to measure progress and to demonstrate collective impact. And another opportunity is the Reverse the Red Accelerator Awards, and that builds on the species pledge. So organizations that have pledged for endangered, critically endangered, or extinct in the wild species can apply for comprehensive support. So it could be financial, technical, strategic, or storytelling. And this is designed to accelerate the recovery focused work. So winners are announced at major conservation events. Last time, if I'm not mistaken, it was at the IUCN World Conservation Congress in Abu Dhabi. And that gives your institution or your association visibility also to advance your conservation goals and to create even more partnerships. So I think what is very clear is that we're living a decisive decade for biodiversity. And so the decisions that we make, the actions we take, all of that will determine whether or not we can halt extinctions and reverse species declines, or whether we fail this generation. So Reverse the Red gives us the framework, the partnerships, and the momentum to succeed. But we can't do this on our own. It requires all of us. So your expertise, your passion, and your commitment. And this is why we are encouraging you to participating in Reverse the Red Day. We can reverse the red. And I would like to add to that together we can reverse the red. And the WASA community should be in that. So thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing your institution or your association contribution to this movement. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Lois. I'm going to turn it over to Rosa for the end part of this to facilitate and introduce our panelists and to also facilitate some question and answer discussion at the end. So if you do have any questions while we're going through, please pop them into the chat or the Q&A at the bottom, and we will have time to talk about those at the end there.
Thank you, Megan. Now we are very excited to introduce you the work of 3 WASA members, 3 institutions that are really participating very actively in the Reverse the Red movement and also in the Reverse the Red Day with activities, events, species pledges, and we wanted to make sure they share their success stories to inspire you all to join us to Reverse the Red. So we are gonna see a presentation from Louise Gordon from Johannesburg Zoo, then one from Matthias Malkoff from the Cologne Zoo, and then the last one will be from Pearl Carls and Marcenia Harris from the Emirates Park Zoo. So thank you in advance, all of you, for sharing this passion. And Louise, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope that my PowerPoint is visible and that you can all see it. Thank you so much. So Johannesburg Zoo is part of a bigger company called Johannesburg City Parks and Zoo. And in this facility, we have a number of reserves. We have the zoo, we have a botanical garden. So we were very excited. So we learned about sorry, I don't know where to move the slideshow. You see? There we go. So we actually were introduced to it at WASA 2022 in Tenerife, and we brought it back home. And obviously we to look at all the toolkits that are on the website, and we started doing all of the webinars, and we got very excited about it, and we decided we are definitely doing Reverse the Red on the 7th of February the very next year. But we were also very inspired by what the director said about how zoos and aquariums can commit to reversing the red. So that really made us very excited about that. So what we did was the first event, because it was quite short notice on our side, we did a staff event only. So what we, and only for the Johannesburg Zoo part. So we bought red t-shirts for each of the staff to wear on every Friday. So the commitment was you're getting a red t-shirt, but every Friday you'll wear it. We developed posters inside the zoo to say, why do you see a red at Johannesburg Zoo on a Friday? We also gave the staff red lollipops just for fun, so to get them committed and full of sugar. We then did a staff pledge, so with various commitments, and we made it quite simple for staff to do commitments. So it wasn't big things. It was to say, you're going to plant more flowers that attract bees. You're going to pick up litter. You are going to make compost. You're going to plant vegetables. Whatever their commitment was, they could do that. And then also some commitments within the zoo of what groups of teams would want to do and to improve the zoo. So we also had our conservation programs on display during this day. And those are the 3 programs that we are working on. And as I said, we've done some poster developments for our social media and sent it out. So this is what it looked like. So our staff all dressed up in red. And then we had this big banner where people could come and write down their commitments to see what it is that they would want to do. Very exciting for them, as you can see. And this was basically done by the whole zoo staff on that day. And still today, when we do any photo opportunities or any other function, then the first t-shirt that they want to put on is Reverse the Red in their selfie frames, because they are really proud of this particular t-shirt. Then we went on to the next 2 years. So we then decided we are going to extend our events for schools and staff. So the next 2 years, we actually included our botanical garden, and they came to display some endangered and rare plants at the zoo, so that we could also say biodiversity is not just about animals, it's about plants as well, and that people can become part of that. We also had a school event at Botanical Gardens, and at every one of these functions, we do a pledge by staff. So these are some of the plants that they displayed, and people found them quite interesting. And because a lot of people haven't seen these plants and they didn't know they were endangered. Then we developed another banner to say that we are really part of this. And so this is displayed on the day with all of the conservation tables. And we also do community engagement. So that we do it for adults, we do it for children. So we talk about Reverse the Red all the time. Now, the other stuff that we've actually decided to do is we did a mural development inside the zoo, so that there's a permanent Reverse the Red sign in the zoo. We do what we call biodiversity events. And these are things, because we are a multifunctional entity, we celebrate things like National Water Week, we do World Environment Day, and all of these have a Reverse the Red segment to it. So it's not just on the 7th of February, but it's actually throughout the year where we do Reverse the Red. Then we also do zoo signage. So where we have endangered species inside our zoo, there's a Reverse the Red logo on those signage. And we also do staff team building about 3 times a year. And one of our teams, so we did a toasted sandwich gone wild competition, and one of our teams decided that their sandwich will be Reverse the Red sandwich. So they got really excited about that. And of course, we were also featured, thank you very much, in the Waza Reverse the Red short guide. So this is our wall. And this is now going to be, it's a permanent part now of the zoo. And if you look at it, we've actually done all of the colors with the animals that we said, these are some of the animals that are really endangered. We go to the next color, the orange, and, messaging to say, no messing around, I'm endangered. How can you let this cuteness go? With my grace, I deserve a place, and so on. Then we went to the yellow one, which is more vulnerable, the same kind of messaging, and using some of our animals on that. And then, of course, the green. For instance, I may be large, but I'm still in the thread. And people do a lot of selfies on these walls, so we are really happy to have it. And then we've got some of the animals that are of the least concern. And if you look from far, that's kind of what the wall looks like. This is the sandwich lot. So they did their toasted salmi. Unfortunately, their sandwich didn't win, but they did get the team decor for the day. And then part of the Reverse the Red guide. Then on this day, or in this year, we decided that now we are going bigger. So we are going to do 3 events. So we're going to do 6th of February for our school event. 7th of February, we're doing conservation collaboration. And this we've actually involved a number of universities to come and do displays on their conservation efforts and what they do at universities. And then on the 8th of February, we are doing a fun walk. So in the zoo, on the second Sunday of each month, there's a fun walk. And in February, we dedicate it to Reverse the Red. Then we also encourage people to wear either red or green or orange. And we say to them, they can wear a combination, but we prefer if it's just one color. And so they can wear that, and they get a special medal that depicts one of the endangered animals. And the lanyard around the medal has the Reverse the Red logo on it as well. Then we're working with a NGO. They kind of like a now I can't remember what the name is, Industrial Theatre, and say they're putting together a production for us this year on Reverse the Red, what it stands for, and they will then also be part of a school competition. So on the school day, schools will be introduced to this production, and then the schools will be invited to come back during our biodiversity events throughout the year to come and present their particular production. And it's a big competition where they can win quite a lot of prizes, so very excited about that. This year, we decided we are committing to our animal pledge. So Megan will be submitting that. And then we have also decided that all of the endangered animals or vulnerable animals in our zoo, they all have names, and we've decided that people can adopt them by their name. And so they're going to get a special Reverse the Red certificate. And so it was kind of a bit of a challenge with our frogs because, one frog looks like another one. But the team were very creative, and we got 20 little frogs with their own special names. So, and you're going to get your certificate for that. And on each of these days, we'll have the animal conservation displays, the rare and endangered plants display. We'll have conservation entities like the Endangered Wildlife Trust, and that has been invited to come and display. We'll have a school competition and also a selfie competition. So the selfie competition must take place at our wall inside the zoo. We are also this year including our reserves, and we have a number of park rangers on our reserves, and they talk about anti-poaching and taking down snares. So they are going to add that to our events this year, which we're quite excited about. This is what we've done. So this is our fun walk, and this is our invitation that we've sent out. This is going to be on our social media platforms and inside the zoo. And we've also invited the media, so that will happen. Then this one is the conservation collaboration, and that will be exhibits throughout the zoo. And then we've got the selfie competition that we're going to have inside the zoo. And this year at our fun walk, we are going to give each person a little plant. It really is quite small, but it is a spekboom, and they're getting a little tag on it. And on the tag, there's the QR code that takes you straight to Reverse the Red website. So we are hoping that people will enjoy these plants and take them home and plant them and remember where they got them from. And that is pretty much it. And I think what we are trying to say really is that the main thing for us is because we don't have a lot of resources around us, we are using what we do in any case. So the red t-shirt it's part of our uniform. So it's not a special t-shirt that you can just get, but it's part of your uniform. And we use all of our events that we do in any case, and we just tag Reverse the Red onto that. And of course, then the 7th of February is normally the special day. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois, for such an insightful presentation and such also a creative way to introduce the Reverse the Red. I think the sandwich competition is definitely a first, and I'm sure everyone will have a lot of questions for you at the end on the Q&A. But from our side, thanks a lot for leading all of these efforts, and they all look incredible. So thank you. And now, I'll introduce Matthias Markov from the Cologne Zoo, who will also share the experience of his institution on Reverse the Red. Matthias, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you all, and happy to be here to talk a bit about what we are doing on Reverse the Red Day or with Reverse the Red was very inspiring for the examples from Louise. So for us, so we have also participating aside from Reverse the Red Day, like last 2 years ago with the World Species Congress. That was in the middle of summer. We had an event where we had politicians here. We also had participating in video competition, and from time to time, like when we have we talk about our conservation work, we link it with Reverse the Red in social media and so on. But today, what I prepared actually is a few slides for the Reverse the Red Day specifically. What we did so far, because I have to say, like Megan mentioned, like so we want to give have this message out of the positive what we can achieve. And the thing is, here in Germany, in February, it's cold, it's rainy, it's gray, and almost not a lot of people come actually to the zoo, because the most obvious thing is, as you mentioned, you bring people in the zoo and you do some activities with them. So it's quite challenging, but I think we have come up with some things, and to get some regional attention all the years where we did do some events. So in 23, maybe as a background, one has to say that Cologne city is very famous for its carnival. So people are getting really crazy here in carnival days. Nobody is working in the whole city, and the zoo has for a long time already its own carnival party actually. But it's not only for zoo people, but also like for friends, and the public can buy tickets. And so for Reverse the Red Day in 2023, staff from the zoo, they all dressed up as Reverse the Red, as you can see on the top of the photo, on the top right, as different animals that are threatened with extinction. And this is quite a regionally big event actually, and it even so you can see here it reaches the regional TV actually. This is our director here with his mask in the local TV. So I think it's despite that we have not the ideal conditions for reaching many people here. There's like we always try to get the media attaching to these events. And in the second example for the Reverse the Red Day, this is it was last year what we did. So we wanted to talk about our work with the Vietnamese crocodile newt, which is bred in the zoo and which have already been brought back to Vietnam actually. And so there was we had a like kind of behind the scenes exhibition created. So that was created anyway, but we kind of waited for the inauguration a couple of days, weeks, actually to be able to connect it with Reverse the Red Day. So we had inauguration at this time of Reverse the Red Day. And so we had the press invited as well. And again, for this wall that you can see here. So, and there's a screen where you can kind of look behind the scenes of this particular work. This had also some attention from local TV, and so this is, I think, we have, despite that we have sometimes difficulties to get people in the zoo during Reverse the Red Day, we had quite some reach on a regional level. And for this year, we are planning, there is a house that is actually at the moment closed, and there is a new Asian bird breeding center in the cellar. So this is really a behind the scenes project, which is actually never open to the public, or it will never be really open to the public, but it's for breeding. And so we will announce soon 2 exclusive tours for for visitors behind the scenes with the bird curator. So we will announce that on social media, and then people can join this event on a Reverse the Red Day. We will also do some press event before that. But yeah, with the press events, it's always, you don't know if they come or not, but you can offer it, and if they come, then it's a good thing. Yeah, apart from that, we are also planning, because Luis mentioned that also, like with the video, the selfie wall was quite interesting. We are also about in the planning stage to actually create some physical representation of Reverse the Red in the zoo, which will be like some how is it called in English, like some walls where you always have, again, you meet the Reverse the Red sign, and then we explain something about the project. So that's currently at the planning stage, and it will likely take until still 1 or 2 years until that's until I can show something about that. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. Thank you for sharing those experiences and those activities. And as you said, in such a cold day for Germany. Thank you for that. And I'm sure the audience will have a lot of questions about how those are received by the press and also the public. Thank you very much. And now I'm very happy to introduce you to Pearl Carls and Marsenia Harris from Emirates Park, who will also share their experience in Reverse the Red and Reverse the Red the Day. Thank you both in advance, and welcome. We cannot hear you, Marsenia. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry.
No. Hi.
Hi. So everybody can see the PowerPoint, yeah?
Yes.
All right. For myself and Pearl, we're very happy to kind of share our journey here in the Middle East and the UAE on how we are introducing the Reverse the Red. So just like a bit of a background, EPZR, Emirates Park Zoo and Resort, we recently just joined WAZA on the 9th of February. And so we actually started Reverse the Red, celebrating Reverse the Red Day last year, which was in 2025. But prior to that, we started to introduce it slowly. So Reverse the Red itself was it's a relatively new concept in the UAE. So when we first looked at it, no zoos in the country had actively celebrated it. So for us, this kind of like presented an opportunity not just to raise awareness, but of course to kind of like build understanding about what endangered species are in the region where the concept is still kind of emerging. So in EPZ, we started working in 2024 with the Emirates, the Environmental Agency of Abu Dhabi for the scimitar horned oryx and the ADEX. So that's basically in terms of population management. However, so we know that, sorry, going back. So we know that in regards to the scimitar horned oryx, it was once extinct in the wild, and back in 2023, the status was downlisted to endangered, and this was due to the UAE's broader network in species recovery and a collaborative efforts of institutions, governments, and communities. So we wanted to highlight that, and we wanted to kind of introduce it that way, and to change the public narrative for them to kind of understand what are endangered species, why is Reverse the Red important, what is the concept of Reverse the Red. So we started we started introducing the concept of Reverse the Red in 2024 during the Endangered Species Weekend. That was in May 2024, and we got the toolkit and everything. We started off very simple. We had workshops. We have a zoo school at the zoo, And we started introducing workshops for about 3 hours a day, and we held it for about 3 days because we called it like Endangered Species Weekend. And during that time, we had like movie screenings that highlighted animal-themed interactions. Movie screenings that highlighted endangered animal themes, and then we started incorporating the message of endangered species and Reverse the Red into our talks, our animal talks, which we had like 7 animal talks and 3 animal presentations per day. And we started to introduce them to like a message board where they can kind of express what endangered species meant. And also we had a live Instagram session. So we had a live session that linked to our Instagram. And during that weekend, we only held it once, but we reached around 50 online engagement. And on site, we had like around 50 people per day. So within the 3 days, we were able to reach personally like around 150 people roughly during this endangered species weekend. And then in February 2025, that was the first time we actually celebrated Reverse the Red. And so we built on the foundation of endangered species, and we kind of repeated the same programming, but stepped it up a little bit. So we had a presentation that was held at the zoo school where an educator would talk about the species that we are working with at the moment, like such as the oryx and the addax. And we had, again, the workshops at zoo schools. We had movie screenings. We had like a little board where people would like leave messages, how to save the species or how to kind of take care of their environment. We also did the live Instagram session. But also just incorporating into that, we added a focus on the species that we were working with, and kind of highlighting that in a way that we incorporated it within like animal talk. So we had a scimitar horn oryx talk, or we had a special addax talk where the keepers would put in some enrichment, and we would kind of highlight our efforts that way. So this is what we learned, is just like simple activities definitely help anchor understanding, and people do connect strongly with local or regionally relevant species stories. And digital engagement can amplify on-site learning, and of course, continuity matters. So that means like we're not just going to stop there. We're going to keep on doing what we can. And just passing it through, because right now Pearl is in charge of the Education and Conservation Department, so she can kind of explain what's next for 2026, Pearl.
All right. Hello, everyone. So right now it is evening here. I'm not sure what time it is for everyone else, but welcome. It's very nice to see everyone on this call. And yeah, so what's new for 2026? So we are a zoo that is visited worldwide by many people all over the world. And so just keeping it very simple, but also very informative. So what I had in plan was to create a Reverse the Red community action wall. And so we'll have those pop-up community action walls throughout the zoo. We have 2 parts of the zoo, main zoo and wildlife area. And so as Ms. Marcinia said, we do have the oryx, we do have the addax, we have our Asian elephants here. We have 2 ladies. And so my plan is to have it run on the 7th and the 8th. Maybe we might extend it to that Friday, because Friday is also a busy day and with schools as well. And so what I just want is for visitors just to simply understand what is Reverse the Red. And it doesn't matter what part of the world you come from. There are valuable lessons to be learned and information to be spread. And so just to have a voice from everyone. So visitors, the audience is just gauged towards all visitors. We will do a visitor pledge about one conservation action, species recovery, species protection. We'll have educators. I have a huge team, 15 educators on the team, so I will definitely have them dispersed throughout the zoo those days, and we'll just sort of highlight. We'll tell them about, maybe if we're standing in front of the scimitar horned oryx, talk about their road from extinction to now being here in the wild, and understanding the importance and how we were able to reverse the red. We'll have an opportunity for guests to sort of make a pledge. And so those pledges might be from a wildlife standpoint, protecting habitats. Those might be within the community, so share a conservation message. We might even turn it into possibly a beach cleanup. These are all things in progress. We do have to make some connections, but in the end, for our visitors, we just want them to write on the board, I commit to helping wildlife, or anything. We'll have stickers, or maybe just placement cards, and having their name on a board displayed in a public space really, really speaks volumes. And so I love the selfie option. So I might just take that on as an extra added point. So I'll have guests, and we'll do hashtags, to tag us, to tag everyone involved with Reverse the Red, as an opportunity just to amplify that, not only, locally here, but nationwide. And so for it to reach, beyond the UAE, and just highlighting that the UAE is now involved in this really important step towards moving forward to the future. So this right now is just one thing that I have in mind. Maybe we have a pop-up recovery lab. And so this gives opportunity, especially for kids during maybe zoo school, to have an opportunity to see how we can make those critical steps to moving our animals from an unsafe environment to a safe environment. One last thing, for some of you who may have been at the IUCN World Congress, we had a little station, and what I had my educators do was make bookmarks out of poop paper. So that would actually be something as a small giveaway, a token of our appreciation for them, and understanding, the importance of the animals, and speaking about why zoos and aquariums are important, and why lots of animals are here today. It's because of our time and our effort to making that stance towards a better future for our animals. So those are some of the ideas that I have, and I'm looking forward to sharing them, and online as well.
Thank you, Pearl and Marcinia, for presenting what you did last year, but also what you are up to for this year. I think it is great, a lot of great ideas, visitor pledge, really getting visitors committed to reversing the red. That is really wonderful to see. We have a few minutes for a Q&A, so I'll go ahead with one question. It's from Jaden Heck Brown at Jacksonville Zoo and Botanical Gardens in Florida, and is asking, what advice or ideas do you have for hosting a Reverse the Red Day with no budget and limited resources? What activities can I include for the public? Would any of you like to provide an answer, thinking of your own experience, those activities that maybe were low cost, high impact, maybe?
I can say that because initially we did not have any budget when we started talking about Reverse the Red. So we worked with zero budget. We just worked with recycled materials, because tying it up again to what is reversing the red, talking about the animals, and then tying it up to how do we do that? That's by taking care of our environment. And then in the end, we kind of just showcased most of our recycled initiatives, and how to kind of like reuse some of the things as arts and crafts, for example. And yeah, I think we started off that way. Like, we started up with zero budget.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. I was wondering, Matthias, would you like to also share with you maybe a top tip or a top learning from your experience in being involved in Reverse the Red. And maybe we can also move to Luis and Pearl and Marcinia, so you can share your top tip or top learning with the audience.
Yeah, I think I agree with Marcinia that like it's actually often not really necessary to have additional budget, because usually in the zoo you do things anyway. So, and I think the South Africa example with the wall was nice. So it's at some point you probably think about what should we do with the wall, and it shouldn't stay like gray. And so if we think about in a long term, like, oh, maybe we can connect it somehow with this red listing colors and Reverse the Red. And so then you can also think about it's not really additional money for this event, or the example you mentioned with the t-shirts, that you buy a t-shirt, need to buy t-shirts anyway, but just add the logo. So I think also from our side, we have like the events were not expensive because we did the things anyway, and it was not specifically that we did a new exhibition for Reverse the Red Day, for example. So I think that's main key, like really to think about ahead also a bit. And yeah, that is for sure that takes a bit of time. And it's not like maybe the first Reverse the Red Day is not the not the easiest. I think it can get then a bit easier if you and there are many inspiring ideas actually today. Really nice. I'm sorry I have to leave, but please feel free to I put my email address in the chat as well to reach out.
Thanks a lot, Matthias. Luis, what about you? Would you like to share your kind of top tip or top learning with all of us?
Yeah, I think as Matthias said, use what you are already doing. So then you just enhance it with Reverse the Red. That's the easiest and I think the most cost effective. I think in a botanical garden, I've seen some examples, for instance, in our Kirstenbosch Botanical Garden in the Cape. What they do is at the entrance, they have just little bottles, like a little glass jar, and they put the flowers that are blooming at the stage. And so they put them in on a table there with there's a person standing there with a little heading to say, these flowers are now in bloom, and this one is endangered, and this one's there, and this is where you can find it. So it's already an interaction, I think, with your public to get them involved without actually spending a lot of money. So, and I think it's really just to kind of to use the toolkit of Reverse the Red. Very easy. All of that stuff, it makes life brilliantly easy. So thank you very much, Megan and team. So doing all the hard work for us. And yeah, so I think just go to the toolkit. Very easy, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. And Pearl, Marcinia, would you like to close the webinar with top learning, top tip from your side and from your experience?
So always, everybody, we've all been working at zoos for a very long time, and so we know that the budget is always tight. But once again, just echoing everyone else, utilizing what you have. And so here at the Emirates Park Zoo, since we are big on trying to create sustainable initiatives and use what we have a unique approach in making poo paper, okay, out of elephant dung. So we actually have a lot of that putting into play, and that's going to be our little gift to everyone who comes. And so it's very informative, and it gives so many different pieces to how Emirates Park Zoo works in many different ways to just create that conservation message across the board.
Thank you to all of our speakers for your inspiration and also passion to make it work, as you say, with limited resources, but a lot of energy to really join the movement and Reverse the Red. Thank you very much, everyone. Speakers, attendees, we will be sending, as Megan said, an email to all attendees, but also all WASA members with all of this information, all of the resources that are available for Reverse the Red, so that you can join the movement. Thank you all. Megan, would you like to say last words?
Yeah, I think just echoing again, thank you all so much for presenting. You had wonderfully different ideas and examples. And like Matthias said before he had to jump, I think those are great, things for everyone to keep in mind and spark creativity and do something different, whatever works for you. Maybe you don't have elephant dung and make poop paper, but maybe there's something like that that you can do. So really excited to see what everyone comes up with this year. And again, please feel free to reach out with questions and let me know what you're planning. We are more than happy to help provide materials and definitely to promote what you're doing as well. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you.